Welcome back, folks. In this third topic, we're going to talk about finding missing angles of right angle triangles. Now, in a previous video, I said that we cannot use the Pythagorean theorem to do this. Okay, it doesn't work. The Pythagorean theorem is only good for finding side lengths. And an important thing to remember is the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So how do we calculate an angle if we already know two of the angles in there? Well, if I know two of them already, and I know all three of them together should add up to give me 180, 180 is my total, and we're going to subtract out all of the other angles that I know in this triangle. So I know I have a 90 degree, that's right in that box. That's what that's denoted by, okay, a right angle. So if I subtract all of those, I'm going to be left with the missing angle. So if I take 180 and I subtract out 35 and I subtract out 90, I'm left with an angle of 55 degrees. Okay, that's going to be my missing angle. Now we can keep going, take a look. Now this property works in every triangle possible, not only right angles. Okay, so I'm going to go 180 again, subtract 78 degrees and subtract 62 degrees. Now I'm going to be left with, let's go here, 40 degrees as my missing angle. Okay, the third one, so this angle, you can see there's one angle that's very, very large. It's going to be larger than 90 degrees, and we call that triangle an obtuse triangle, as long as 180 is bigger than 90. So again, we're going to go 180, which is our total. We're going to subtract 26. We'll subtract 37. So my missing angle is going to be 117 degrees. So since that angle is larger than 90, this triangle is an obtuse triangle. Okay, if I have all angles less than 90, it's an acute angle triangle. And of course, if I have a 90-degree angle, that is a right triangle. So I have one of each type here. So I have a right triangle, and the second one was an acute triangle. I should fix that. Okay, acute. Now, how to find an angle when you don't have the other two? Okay, I only have some side lengths. I can use those to help me figure out what the angle is, but I have to remember those trig ratios from before. So either sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay, step 3 says to use the inverse function to find an angle. So essentially, I have to do the opposite of whatever sine, cosine, and tangent. I have to do the opposite of whichever one I choose. So we're going to look at the first one. We'll set up the triangle. We'll do everything, and we'll see how this works. So according to the angle I want to find, I need to label this triangle. So I have a hypotenuse, which I don't know. My opposite is going to be 8, and my adjacent is going to be 10. Now I know I'm going to be using opposite and adjacent, and the only ratio that will do that for me is the tangent ratio. Okay, so I'm going to use actually the tangent of x, because that's the angle I'm working with, is going to be equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Okay, so if we set that up, tangent of x is equal to 8 over 10. Now I can't do my cross multiply trick anymore because I don't know what x is. I've got to find that angle. So what we're going to do is in your calculator, you're going to put in what's called the inverse tangent. Okay, so it's tangent to the -1. So find wherever your tangent button is and look just above it in a different color, either blue, green, yellow, whatever. It should say tangent to the power of -1. Okay, that's called the inverse tangent. So we're going to press either shift or second and then press that tangent button, and then we're going to put in our fraction of 8 over 10. And again, please make sure you are in degree mode before you do this, or else it will not work. And the angle you are going to get to the nearest whole degree is 39. Okay, so 39 degrees is what angle x is. Okay, we'll take a look at B as well. So we got to label that triangle first. So here's my angle. 30 is my hypotenuse. 20 is my adjacent. It looks like we're using cosine this time. So the cosine of angle x is equal to the adjacent, which is 20, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 30. Okay, that means x is equal to the inverse of cosine, with 20 over 30 being the angle or the fraction I'm going to place in my calculator. So find that cosine button, press second or shift, and press cosine. And we're going to put in 20 over 30, enter. And again, to the nearest whole degree, it works out to be 48 degrees. One more here. Looks like we're going to be using sine. So my angle again is x. My opposite is 2. My hypotenuse is 5. So if we set this up, we're going to have the sine of angle x is equal to 2 meters over 5 meters. Now I put in the units just to show you that if I take meters and divide it by meters, they're really just going to cancel out. So they don't really need them in there. They're going to go away. So if I do this and I put in the sine inverse of 2 over 5 into my calculator, which is in degree mode, to the nearest whole degree, we get 24 degrees for my angle. Okay, so this is how I would use those trig functions to help me find out what an angle is. Now again, down below, you've got some practice ones, which it's very good to try these on your own. It's very easy to watch someone do it and walk you through it, but until you try it by yourself, you aren't really going to know if you understand it or not. So try these ones down below without the use of your notes. Try them on your own, see what you remember. And if you're stuck, that's when you go back and you take a look at this video, take a look at any other resources you might have, and then you try again. Okay, so I'll scroll through pretty slowly so you can pause it. And here's where the answer key is. Okay, the next video is all about solving right triangles, which I believe I've already have a video posted for it, and you can take a look at that one as you're working through these.